Voitti tuon yhden normaalikilpailun, mutta sitten epämatkalla.
8, 2. Joo.
Let me guess. 448.
Joo, 448.
148. Yeah, I know finish.
Ja numero on...
Thank you very much.
Vielä puuttuu 3. 6?
Yeah, 6.
Yes, kyllä.
Ja 1, 1, 2.
Mutta se on kai sininen niin.
Ja tämä on 324.
Kiitos.
No, tuo number on 077.
077.
Ja, ob du würdest, so ganz komisch, gell? Ja.
Numero 14 Larjevö Norjasta joutui 25.
Welcome back to Kontiolahti for the final day of action. 2 mass start races, and up first is the 15 kilometres for our men. 5 times round the 3K loop, head to head. It is our final day here in Finland's East Karelia region. Alongside myself, Ellen Ellard, once again is Chad Samula, former Team USA biathlete. And Chad, as we take a look at the course, and of course once again that steep elevation we can just see there, commonly known as the wall. Slightly unique this, isn't it? Having a mass start race in our first race week of the season.
It absolutely is. I think this is it. I know it's a new precedent. They've never done this before. They've had they're having the first mass start before the pursuit competition, taking the results from the 15-kilometer short individual and the 10-kilometer sprint from the last 2 days of individual competitions, creating those World Cup points, and then picking the top 15 in that standing. Then the remainder of this 30-person field will come from last season's World Cup overall standings for those folks who aren't in the top 15 in the current standings. It creates a mishmash and a whole new starting field. And what it also has resulted in is 4 new starters to have mass start World Cup. There are 4 athletes of 30 racing their first World Cup mass start today.
And we have to say as well, 6 athletes aged either 25 or under. As we take a look at our start list there, and the blue bib in the hands of Vitaly Manzin, who is one of the athletes who are taking to a mass start for the first time. Just how impressed have you been with him over the course of, well, this whole week, but particularly the individuals, Chad?
When you're 21 years of age and you're developing as an athlete, and the last several years of your life have been essentially in a war zone, I can't say enough about Vitaly Manzin's development as a biathlete at 21 years of age. This is an amazing development for any situation, particularly in his own situation. So hats off to him. I think it's just a victory that he's here in this mass start, his first one of his career.
just off the podium earlier on in the week. And wearing the blue bib today, we can see a glimpse of some of the other athletes who are making the way to the start line. Have to give a word, of course, to Campbell Wright as well. This not his first, I believe it's about his third mass start. He was 30th in Antholz, but a real opportunity to perform today, Chad.
Yeah, it's great, and he is good at this head-to-head competition historically. He loves the sort of wildness of the sport of biathlon, and if you ask him, this is what he loves to do the best. He loves to challenge people head on, and you know, it can go brilliantly or it can go disastrously in a mass start. That's the way it is, but that's the beauty of the sport. It's kind of a high wire act.
So we can see the athletes starting to make their way out to the start line. In rows of 3, going all the way back to 30, so 10 rows.
They've done a great job with the course here in Kontiolahti. The warm temperatures, the cold temperatures, they've seen just about everything, and it looks like they're seeing almost today. It's just a little bit below freezing. If it is snow, it's a very wet snow. It's almost a drizzle coming down, but it's been great. This is a very big task for the opening World Cup weekend. It's almost a World Championships level calendar, just the number of competitions they've had. So conditions have held up well, and they've done a great job organizing this.
Well, it was a little sprint to the start there from Johannes Tingersberg. 16 wins in this discipline. Chad, he's so dominant when it comes to mass starts.
Yeah, he's got over 5 more wins in this competition than anybody else in this competition. He's got three-time winner in this discipline is Vetle Sjöstedt Christensen. Tarjei Bø also has 3 wins in this style competition. Several with 2. Jakob Falk has 2 victories. He's in the start order. Quinton Fiume has 2. Sturla Holm Lagrad, who we just saw lining up, he has 2 wins. And Sebastian Samuelsson has 1.
As we move our way through the start list, Eric Perrot wearing bib number 8.
So with those 16 victories in mass start competition, this is obviously the big favorite, but he's yet to win a competition so far in this season, trying to take down the great Ole Einar Bjørndal's 95 wins. JT Boo stuck at 85 wins. He needs 10 to topple the king of biathlon.
We've been saying for the last few days, will today be the day that he dips into those 10? Will the man next to him, and then Jacques Alain, take top spot today, starting side by side. But Johannes Tingersberg wearing the yellow bib, and of course the glimmer of the red through there, as well as the Crystal Globe winner in this discipline last season. He was only without that yellow bib for 1 day.
It was a close race between him and his teammate Johannes Dahle Skjevdal, who didn't have any victories but had 3 of the 4 races last year in the mass start. He was second place, so he ended up losing the red bib to Johannes Tingersberg by only 3 points.
So Chad, what do you make of the conditions out there today? We won't be looking at the variables as much, with it being a head-to-head competition, but our final day here in Finland's East Karelia region. What do you think of the tracks today?
Really stable. I mean, even the humidity in the air, you can see it's kind of shiny track, but there's no real disadvantage or advantage to anybody because they're all starting from the shot of the gun. That's kind of the way all mass starts are. But the course has held up really well, as I was saying in the opening. They've done a great job here. You can see on the side of the track there's not a lot of natural snow. They're kind of on this pedestal or platform or stage of a tarmac that is about 3 feet deep. All of that is made by snow guns and spread around this course. It's kind of the norm. If you can't do that, you really can't be a World Cup host, or they won't give you the bid for a World Cup spot if you can't create that snow outside of natural snow.
So the first checkpoint that we'll get to will be 1.2 kilometres. Stella Holmlaglide leading the way.
Normally we see this kind of first lap where it's just kind of somebody goes out there and sets somewhat of a pace. It's not terribly fast. Nobody's really racing yet. And if you consider it's a 15-kilometer race and the first 3 kilometers are usually just kind of like a feeling out, it turns it into about a 12-kilometer race when it really comes down to like hard skiing. However, when I've seen Johannes Tingesbø in great shape, I think of Ruupholding last year, he can go out, and if he knows he's in great shape, he can go off the front and try to hurt everybody. I don't think the Johannes Tingesbø we've seen this week is going to try that today.
They're very much tucked in the pack. It'll be 5 times around this course, and of course then 5 times up the wall as they head into the range. 4 visits to the range. Prone standing, of course.
Yeah, another unique thing about this Kontiolahti venue is these competitions happen all at night. It's all under lights. It's a lot of time. 20 years ago, this concept was kind of new, skiing in the evenings, but it's really good for television viewers across the world, especially in the continental Europe. These are happening at dinner times, at times where people are coming home from work. And that's a strategy to try to grow the audience. But this Kontiolahti venue, we've seen only the darkness all week long. But it is an unbelievable undertaking to create a venue like this.
Yeah, great place to start our new IBU World Cup season. Sjostar Christensen, bib number 9, leading the pack up the wall for the first time.
And nothing really of a tough pace right now. Just kind of out there skiing. You can see nobody really wants to force the pace. Nobody wants to be that person who comes in too fast and then misses their shots prone and find themselves outside this order. And I should say, Ellen, tactically, these kinds of head-to-head races, especially the mass start, you can't afford to miss more than 1 shot in a single shooting stage. If you miss one, you go to the penalty loop, you're kind of off the back, but you can find your way back into a pack that'll get you towards the front, especially as other people miss. But missing a shot each in the first 2 shooting stages, 1 shot each, is very different than missing 2 shots in the first one and cleaning your second. The dynamic will change quite drastically by comparison.
I have to say as well this week, been incredibly impressed with the diversity of the nations standing atop the podium as they fly towards and up the wall they go. Christensen and Jacqueline, the 2 neck and neck, and you can just hear the crowd and see the variety of the flags and how deeply they're packed to the side of the barriers there. The support in this part of the course has been excellent over the last week. Emilian Jacquelin spoke after the sprint race about how he wants to silence his critics. 2 wins in a week would certainly do that, Chad.
Absolutely. Be a big. He's a momentum kind of athlete as Jacquelin. He's at the front of the field in bib 2. He's very emotional. He doesn't approach the sport in a very rational way. And when he gets into a good emotional state like we've seen this week, he could be very dangerous in this mass start competition. In fact, you might call him the favorite.
Well, it's all about how you take that motivation, what you choose to be your motivation, and how you use it. And he's certainly a focused athlete this week. Just in behind him, Johannes Tingesbø, the yellow and red bib lurking as they come into shooting for the first time.
This shooting range, they'll shoot on their bib number the first time, and then from the first shooting point on, they'll load in the order they are in the race. So blue and the yellow and red will go to point 1. Everybody else will go to shoot on their bib number. Mostly Norwegians and French at the front of the field, but there are 12 nations represented in this field of 30.
Yeah, brilliant to see so many. Must be on my A, quick to get started.
Clock is 3 for 3.
Yeah, Samuelson missed, Jacquelin missed, JT Bow missed. And
that
2
guy's
misses.
Stromsheim.
Yeah, 2 misses.
Yeah. Tarjebo's clean. Falk is clean. So some of the big names going to the penalty loop right there. You see them. Jacqueline goes up, but the new leader will be Sturlaholm Lagride comes out first. Not a surprise. They got Kuhn in 8th. Just look at the top 10. Lagride, Stromsheim, Strelo, Perrot, Christensen, all within 2.5 seconds. And here comes the chase back.
Yeah, so here's Johannes Tingersberg, Bjorn Maye, Navrath Samuelson. Campbell Wright's in there as well. And Jacqueline with those 2 misses. Well, he has to do an extra loop.
Jacqueline, 2 misses, and Ponsaloma with them there. So we may not see the brilliant Jacqueline we were talking about. Here's the shooting of Johannes Tingersberg. Let's see where he misses. 2 solid shots, 3 solid shots. That was a little low center. That one's, we didn't see the miss there. I think it was the first shot that was the miss, perhaps. But looking at it now, there are 13 clean athletes through the first shooting point, and Johannes Tingersberg leads those with a miss at 19.5 seconds back. And that's what I was talking about. If you missed 2 like Jacqueline, you're way off the back, 37 seconds back, and then you're kind of buried by the field. But Johannes Tingersberg still is sort of in the middle of the group, even with that miss.
Yeah, lots of work to do for Emilien Jacqueline. 37.4 seconds down. The penultimate athlete in the standings.
Stromsheim now to the front. Lagride lets him go. But Sturlaholm Lagride is a master at these head-to-head competitions. So stable, doesn't do anything terribly exciting, but just finds his way to the front of the field after the first shooting stage. It's classic Lagride.
Those the Norwegians that dominated in the short individual. Packed out the top 10 in the sprint as well, but not in the none on the podium. And
You see Thierry Langer in bib number 8 from Belgium. This is his first ever. He's had a long career. Langer with 137 starts. never a mass start until today.
Yep, one of the 4 athletes making their debut in this event.
There's
bib
another
number
one.
2.
Man's in 28 in his first mass start, the 21-year-old. He's had a great week here, though.
He has indeed. You can see him wearing the blue bib. There's someone who hasn't had the week they'd have wanted. Martin Ponsaloma, Olympic Games silver medalist in the mass start, a silver medal in Oberhof at the World Championships in 2023 as well, finding himself right at the back.
Kind of the lead group now kind of creating a tadpole effect. It's about 8 athletes still in that lead pack and a couple coming off the back of it. Looks like Johannes Kuhn and bib 29 and bib number 18, Thierry Langer, not able to match the pace being set by Sturla Lagrade. And Jakob Falk, bib 11, he is one of the multiple time winners. He's won 2 of these mass starts. He's at the back of this group and kind of letting him go. I think it's a really smart tactic of Jakob Falk not to push his own ski pace and let the leaders maybe sneak away from him and hope for misses from them.
Yeah, Jakob Falk's had a very consistent week so far, particularly in terms of shooting.
Currently sitting in the 11th spot. He's finished 7th in the short individual and 16th in the sprint. Just 1 spot behind Campbell Wright, who is 4th in the sprint and 28th in the short individual. Wright with a penalty now in the middle of the pack. Bach now being caught by the Norwegian Tarjei Bø. He was 4 seconds back on Falk at the last time check. So Tarjei Bø moving through the field. Johannes Tingersberg, he started the lap 19 seconds back. He's 17, so just 2 seconds gained on the leaders as Johannes Tingersberg.
Yeah, but leading the pack of athletes with penalties to their names. And up the wall the leaders go. Stromsheim and Lagride.
Yeah, the lag when Stromsheim had the lead. Now Lagride goes back to the front, and you can see Stromsheim struggling maybe just a little bit with that pace. He's trying to control the race speed a little bit, and you can see the field is marching on that lead pack. That Campbell Wright made 4 seconds on the lead group in that last time check from the shooting range. So Lagride sensing that maybe it's a little too weak of a pace by his teammate, and goes back to the lead and pushes the pace at the front a little bit more.
Yeah, it's just Estrello up into second now. Really struggled in that short individual, really uncharacteristic shooting.
Less than half the field clean from the prone, so it's pretty. It's not an awesome statistic. It's about, normally you see about 2/3 of the field go clean in the first prone. Only 13 clean in the first shooting stage. Dudchenko from Ukraine, the last one clean, and then Johannes Boo, the first with a miss. Fiolmaye, Navrath, Samuelson, Claude, Wright, Surum, Shevdal, Jacomel, Pedruchny, Hornig, Bionats, Horn, Burkhalter, and Manzin, all with one miss, and then Jacqueline and Ponsalom with 2 at the back of the field.
Yeah, Jacqueline really struggling to make up any ground. He's eaten 2 seconds into the time of the leader, but still finds himself in 27th. Just hasn't been able, in terms of positioning, to really get himself back on the pace he needs.
Yeah, all he can do now is try to go clean from here and just hope that the field comes back to him with this pressure at the front of the field causing misses.
Sturlaholm Lagride leading this leading pack into the range for the second time.
Look at Justus Strelo. He got into this start not from the results this week, but from last season, and he's making the most of it sitting in third right now.
And we know how well he can perform in the range.
Had a 94% hit rate last season, did Strelo. He's in point number 3.
But there's the miss for Strelo. Perrot, Lagride as well missing. Christensen and Stromsheim have gone clean.
Igonot clean in the middle of the field. Falk clean as well. Rietmuller clean. Mavroth, Surum all clean.
Jacomel clean. Campbell Wright missing on the last. Keep your eyes on Jacqueline there. 4 for 4. He's clean now. Antonin Dudchenko as well further down the order in 18th. He's clean but just can't match the pace on the skis.
So there are only 7 shooters clean, and 6 of them are in the top 6. Stromsheim, Christensen, Gigonov, Falk, Tardiebu, and Rietmuller from Germany. All your clean shooters, and they hold down the top 6 spots. There's the shooting of Lagride right down the center on the third shot. Another 10x shot, just nailing the center of the target. Great shooting. Prone is done. It all comes down to standing now. So not a particularly great shooting performance, Ellen, from the field. You can tell that normally we would have roughly half the field still clean after 2 shooting stages, and right now I don't know if it's just nerves of the first mass start. We have 8 clean shooters. Dudchenko Wade on 18th is clean, and Simon Ader clean in 22nd, but otherwise everybody else is clean, has a shot at winning this competition. But still people with misses. It's 21 seconds back to Thierry Langer, and Johannes Kuhn 24 back with 1 miss. They're all within a penalty loop of the lead.
Yeah, but like you say, Chad, top 6 all shooting clean. Johannes Tingersburg after that in 7th with his 1 miss. Petla Shostak Christensen now taking on the lead. And a strong time who briefly held that yellow bib that you can see just in the background there. Johannes Dingersburg coming up to the checkpoint and through now in 6th.
And of the leaders, only Vetlesjosa Christensen has won a mass start, and he's won 3 of them. He's very good. He kind of rises to the top of these mass starts, is most successful of his disciplines. Jacqueline now.
Yeah, his Jacqueline 20th, so going clean with his the standing shoot. Has helped him out there, gained 7 places.
Now a dynamic happening at the front where 2 athletes are forcing the pace. 2 Norwegians. They look like putting like a pretty good gap on Antonin Giganat. Giganat just letting the 2 Norwegians, Vetlesjosa Christensen and Endre Stromsheim, take the lead and ski away from him. Stromsheim forcing the pace. I'm kind of surprised at this. He had a pretty tough ski performance in the sprint competition. There's Giganat now in the background. He's 3rd. And the big pack chasing. And look who's in that pack. Johannes Dingersburg.
Yeah, you
right
can
back
see
at the front.
The big pack looming behind. They'll sweep up Giganot. And you just look at the rate they're moving, particularly Johannes Dingersburg on the right-hand side of your picture. Won't be long until they catch back up with Christensen and Stromsheim.
We often say if you're in the picture, you've got a shot at the win. And if you're in the picture now, it's looking like we have about still, I would say 14, 15 athletes well within the grasp of the victory still, with 2 shooting stages to go and 2.5 laps of skiing left.
Yeah, still all to play for.
Sebastian Samuelson, bib 7, 2 misses. He's down in 18th spot. He's the fastest of the athletes with 2 misses because he's got Quentin Fillon-Maillet and Jacqueline with him. They all have 2 misses, but there are 3 fast skiers sitting in the 18th, 20th spot. If anybody chokes up at the front because the pressure increases, those 3 can still pounce, but they have to be perfect from here on out in the standing position.
Yeah, Jacqueline about 5-6 meters off the back of Sebastian Samuelson. Sjøstad Christensen and Endre Stromsheim holding the lead that they have as they come up the wall. Everyone else behind them absorbed into this pack being led by Johannes Dingersburg, with Björn Sørlem to the side of him as well, they're wearing bib 19.
Yeah, you got Antonin Giganat, who is kind of getting used to hearing his own breathing, now hearing the breathing of about 12 or 10 other guys around him. It's a very distinct difference from the beginning of the lap for him. One of the great things about this mass start is just the pressure that builds as the race moves on. The pressure to stay clean if you are clean, the pressure to stay clean if you have a miss so that you can move up through the field and pass people who might miss. But this is a battle of wills, a psychological battle, and it's what makes this sport so compelling.
Yeah, they managed to hold that gap. Jacqueline now 27 seconds off the pace of the leaders. And is in that trailing group just behind 4 or 5 athletes behind the chasing pack.
Third of 4 shooting stages now from the standing position. The good thing is we've seen a lot of wind in the last 2 days. Not quite as windy today. Shouldn't be a factor. You're looking at the wind flags, just little flutters of the wind flags, nothing major going on the range. So it's basically just you, your nerves, and the people you're shooting against. Björn Sørlem now into third. Haven't called his number yet, but he's got one miss on the day. Skiing very well at Surum.
Stromsheim, Christensen. Stromsheim with a miss. Christensen 2 for 2. Another miss for Stromsheim in this standing position. It's 3 misses for Jackamel. Guggenot with a miss.
Who will go clean? Perrot, Strelo. Oh, Strelo misses his last shot, so Perrot the only clean one so far. Riekmüller and Lagrade both go clean.
So it's Eric Perrot who's now first out of shooting. Just one more shooting stage to go. Riekmüller in second. Sturlholm Lagrade with 1 miss to his name in third. Christensen about 7 seconds down on him. As JT Bow once again round the penalty loop.
And Jakob Falk clean in 5th. Great performance by the oldest man, or second oldest man in the field. Got 841 years of age. Jakob Falk still finding the fountain of youth at the age of, I believe he's 37.
And you can see that Duchenko, Anton Duchenko, still clean. He's in 11th. This is Sjostar Christensen.
Has the 1 miss, but still in chasing contention. Only 15 seconds back with a penalty. Lagrade and Perrot each with 1 as well. So Perrot shooting fast, cleaning all but 1 stage so far. And Riekmüller from Germany, the surprise, clean in second. But really not of the ski pedigree of the 3 he's with.
Yeah, only 2 in the top 10 shooting clean as they come out of shooting 3.
Riekmüller, just 25 years of age, in his 11th World Cup start, in position to possibly take a podium spot. This would be huge for the Germans and this young German trying to make his way into a stable spot on this German men's national team. This would do it for him.
Yeah, 5.1 seconds down on Eric Perrot.
And this would be a maiden victory for Perrot in the mass start. He's got 1 win in a sprint competition. He won in Soldier Hollow last year in the United States in March. Riekmüller is going to have to deal with Sturlholm Lagrade as well, right on his heels. And then Vetle Sjostar Christensen, man who's won 3 times before in World Cup mass start, trailing by just 14 seconds. That's close enough to win if he stays clean. Jakob Falk just kind of in a position where he has to do his own race. Like, he can't do anything about it. He's got a 0 next to his name. Can't ski with the guys at the front of the field. Has to let them go, just wave goodbye, and hope that they all go to the penalty loop and then maybe get out of there clean and with the lead.
Theon Maye, Samuelson, just inside the top 10 with 3 misses to their names. There's Johannes Tingersberg.
Anton Duchenko, one of the other clean athletes on the day, he's in 17th, doesn't have the ski prowess to be at the front of the field.
No, not at all.
Which makes Fox performance just that much more impressive.
Yeah, he left shooting 3 in 11th. He's dropped down to 17th. And has lost 10 seconds as well.
Yeah, and when the wheels come off, you've been racing all week, and you're against the best athletes in the world. If you're not at your absolute prime, you're gonna sink through the field like Duchenko is experiencing. That's just the way it is. But so you want to give your best effort in this first mass start of the year for Duchenko. But Simon Eder with a miss as well, minute 40 back, just not able to keep with it on the skis. Campbell Wright in 29th has 4 penalties on the day, so not a storybook day for the American.
Eric Perrot leading from Riekmüller.
Nobody here really in attack mode. You can see everybody just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna guard my spot. I'm not gonna do anything rash or try to pull away because they've got enough gap on the strongest skiers. You can see Johannes Tingesbø way in the back. If you look at middle right of your screen, and there's that yellow bib. That is a lot of ground for Johannes Tingesbø to make up. I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, those misses proving incredibly costly for Johannes Tingesbø. He feels just after every shooting stage has had to come back out and fight his way back through the field.
And Eric Perrot is putting time on the Vebjørn Sørum and Justus Strelo and Fionn Maillet. Actually pulled a couple seconds out of the leaders there in that last time check. And now Perrot looks like he's actually kept pushing it a little bit.
Up the wall they go.
Perrot has won in the World Cup. Wilhelm Lagride has won this discipline and his fair share of World Cup competitions. Total of 13 wins by the Norwegian, but one man who has not won a World Cup is Danilo Riedmüller of Germany, and he sits in position 5.8 seconds back on the cusp of doing just that.
This final shooting stage will be incredibly telling. Vebjørn Sørum, Samuelsen, Fionn Maillet, 5th, 6th and 7th, Strelo. And then Jakob Fack. With eyes on that top 10 finish. Johannes Tingesbø.
I'm looking at the time at this point in the race with coming into the final shooting stage. Remember, a penalty loop is about 22, 23 seconds. If you take that to heart, there's really only 4 athletes within a penalty loop of the lead, and that it ends with Christensen. So it's Perrot, Lagride, Riedmüller, and Christensen with the most likelihood of taking the victory today. But Vebjørn Sørum, 10 seconds back. There's a whole pack down to Strelo in 8th, 32 back. So plenty of people within 2 penalty loops. The pressure mounting.
And Eric Perrot can feel it. Stella Humleglide breathing down the back of his neck as he comes into shooting 4.
Those 500 meters of skiing before the shooting range are the truth tellers of what your ski ability is. And you can see Danilo Riedmüller giving reality all its due justice as he backs off.
All even between Perrot and Lagride, but there's the miss. Perrot goes clean. Eric Perrot goes clean at the front. It will be a penalty loop for Stella Humleglide. Riedmüller, a miss for him as well.
Riedmüller has to hold it together. He does. But Perrot is going to have a nice lead. This is a gift-wrapped victory for Perrot as nobody else clean so far from the chasers. And Fionn Maillet goes clean. Lagride goes into second, 20.7 seconds back. Anybody going to challenge him for that second spot? It's going to be Fionn Maillet, the closest, 6.7 seconds back.
2 misses again for Jacquelin. Another miss for Johannes Tingesbø. Carlier taking his time with that final standing shot. 3 misses for Fabien Claude. Carlier clean with his final standing shoot. Stromsheim as well. Kutchenko, 20 out of 20 for him.
Good shooting performance for the Ukrainian.
Really good. Bionats with 4 misses though from that final visit. Thierry Longer on his mass start debut clean with his final standing shoot. And Johannes Tingesbø, who's spent far too much time today going around that 150-meter penalty loop. Here's Eric Perrot again, leading the way.
So impressed with Perrot's composure in that situation, and the speed with which he shot those, the speed with which he cleaned those. it was definitive. It's like there was no doubt in his mind that this was his race. Love to see that.
Just one miss on the day, 19 out of 20. Eric Perrot, a 20.7 advantage on Sturla Holmlaglide.
And if you look at the shooting performance by Perrot, he was clean the first stage, which kept him in the group. He missed his one shot he misses on the second stage. And that kind of shows you how the dynamic of this mass start kind of creates. You have to create some momentum. You can absorb a miss, but it's very hard to miss a lot in the first stage or to miss a couple times in the middle because you lose the contact with the front of the pack.
And it's been a brilliant week for the French team.
And Perrot is going to take this win the way he likes it. It's not going to be a thriller sprint for the line. It's going to be a solo dance, but not out of the woods yet. Still got Sturla Holmlaglide chasing from behind.
But he's not gaining any time, is Sturla Holmlaglide.
Danilo Riethmüller. It's going to be a great performance for him, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to hang with Quentin Fillon to get on the podium.
Fillon, this would be a good recovery from 3 misses to find himself on the bottom foot of the podium.
This would be Riethmüller's personal best, though. His personal best before today was this. In the short individual in Antolz last season, he was 7th. 2 top 10s in his career. He had a 9th in Canmore, so 4th is a step up for him, the 25-year-old.
Johannes Tingersberg just inside the top 10, strong time in that 10th position at the minute. So it's similar to what we had for the sprint in that, well, this time around Norway we only have 1 on the podium, but still pack out that top 10.
Perrot just doing what he needs to do to stay out front. Looks solid. Danilo Riethmüller, though, is giving himself a shot at the podium. You saw Quentin Fillon try to put a move on the German at the last time check, and it looked like it was going to work and it was going to stick. But now Riethmüller is right back on him, and I don't know how Riethmüller can sprint. He might be a fast sprint finisher.
He could still have a sprint finish. It won't be the top spot. Slightly deceptive, the camera angle. Makes that chasing group of 4 look a lot closer to Eric Perrot than they actually are.
Yeah, that's Surum in the background there. Björn Surum. Riethmüller just trying to hang with a shot at the podium, and still Holmlaglide is actually being caught now. Looking like maybe he's not in the best of shape right at this moment, as the Frenchman Quentin Fillon and the German Riethmüller kind of sidle up to him on the big climb.
Well, we could have a French 1-2. Gap was opening to Riethmüller. And you can see he's just lost contact as they come towards the wall.
Fillon thought maybe Lagarde give him a spot on the inside, but Lagarde has nothing doing, shuts the door on him, so Fillon has to back up and then try to go around the other side, which he is doing effectively. Fillon in the 2nd spot now.
He's just edged into it. Fractions between this group. 3 fighting for 2 places on the podium. Eric Perrot is well clear, 22 seconds. He's not lost any time since he left shooting 4. He's held it so well out on the tracks. But the battle is for 2nd and 3rd. Down the final slope, he'll come around the corner in a few moments' time and into the last 50 meters for Eric Perrot. But here's the battle. And it is the Frenchman who is just edging it. Fillon takes a look over the shoulder. Has he broken Sturla Holmlaglide? He's certainly broken Danilo Riethmüller. It won't be a podium for the German today. A great performance regardless.
That guy looked like he was getting dropped, but he's right back on the heels.
And here is Eric Perrot. As the sprint happens behind, he takes a look over his shoulder. He can't see anyone. A brilliant performance, 19 out of 20. He points to the ground. A brilliant victory from the Frenchman. And here's the battle. It will be a French one too. Sterling Holmgren looks over his shoulder. He knows he's well beaten. Quentin Fillon-Maillet takes second. Sterling Holmgren third place. And Danilo Riethmüller over the line for fourth. Well, what a day for the French team.
A little bit of a pushback from Quentin Fillon-Maillet, who has not been on the podium since the World Championships last year, so a little bit of a dry spell for him. That's going to breathe a little love into his season and his 19th February in Surin with a spectacular ski performance today as he finishes in fifth with 3 penalties.
Christensen, Stromsheim, and Johannes Tingesbo and Taliabo over the line. Sebastian Samuelsson, 5 misses.
But flying on the skis, comes across the line with the fastest ski time over Fillon-Maillet by 8 seconds. 16 seconds faster than Johannes Tingesbo. So Samuelsson, he's got the fitness, but he doesn't have the dexterity today.
And that's been, well, the story of his week. Second in the sprint, missing once, but in the other 2 individual races, just hasn't had the performance in the range that he needs to really complement that ski speed.
Eric Perrot, second victory of his career. First one came in March of last season in Soldier Hollow in the sprint. He adds a mass start, which is kind of the crown jewel. If you can win a mass start in a World Cup, it tells you you've mastered the sport. All the difficulty psychologically, all the stimulation of all the noise, the head-to-head action. And Perrot, at just 23 years of age, is certainly a star of the future now, Ellen.
Yes, for sure. Second in the under-25 competition last season. Remains one to watch in some manner, but also one to be incredibly wary of if you're the likes of Johannes Tingesbo. Still no victory. Well, Chad, how surprised are you with that Johannes Tingesbo hasn't found his way onto the top spot of the podium this week?
I would say slightly. I'm not entirely. This sport is a tough sport to master, and it became clear early in the season or early in the week that Johannes Tingesbo is not at the very tip-top shape of his fitness. It might be by design. It might not be. He might be training, holding a relatively load because of the World Championships in Lenzerheide, and they are at high altitude. And you have to be a little bit prepared for those high altitude World Championships. So it all depends on, you have to be in his camp to know what he's thinking. From an outsider looking in, it's not terribly surprising, but it's surprising. I mean, when you have the yellow and red and you have 85 victories over 8 seasons, you expect a high win rate from him. So to leave here without a win, this first week cut with multiple opportunities to do so, it's a minor upset.
So all 30 athletes over the line. Eric Perrot was the first to cross it. A brilliant performance, his first victory in a mass start at IBU World Cup. Missing once in the prone position. 19 out of 20. Fillon-Maillet only going clean with his final standing shoot, but still able to ski his way into second. And Sterling Holmgren, the only Norwegian on the podium. Also with 2 misses, Johannes Tingesbo in the top 10. And Sebastian Samuelsson with 5 misses rounds out that top 10.
Got to give Samuelsson some confidence in his skiing ability, though. Even though it kind of hurts to have 5 minutes. You look at how easily you could have contended with even just 2 misses. But you know, everybody lives to fight another day. They'll go down south to the Alps in Hochfilzen and get a little bit of recovery from this long first week. This is a big opener. These opening weeks of Biathlon World Cup season. Like I said at the start of the show, it's nearly a World Championships level commitment for the organizers and the athletes.
So Eric Perrot will go into the yellow bib. He tops the total score after 3 competitions. Tali Manzin will retain that blue bib.
I'd have to go back and see who the last person at 23 to hold the yellow bib is, but I would have to say it's probably, we're going to find out that it was Johannes Tingesbø, the most recent to hold the yellow bib at such a young age. Great performance for Perrot, and it's kind of setting a tone for having him among the leaders.
Yeah, his worst performance over the course of this week was 11th in the sprint, 6th in the short individual, and stands atop the podium. His first time in a mass start event, his second World Cup victory. Chad, I feel like we said it over and over again over the course of this week, but the French fans travelling in numbers this weekend, and they've been well rewarded for their efforts.
It's been a great week competition, a great kickoff to the season. Really, for the most part, fair conditions, a little bit of swirling wind, but a good test for all the athletes going into this long season. They'll move south to Hochfilzen, Austria next weekend, and the week after that in Grand Bernard, France, before the Christmas break. And everybody eyeing the World Championships in February in Lenzerheide, Switzerland.
Eric, congratulations. What a fantastic race. Second victory in your career, but to win it by crossing the finish line first must be feeling extra special.
Yeah, extra special. I can't speak because I'm frozen. Like the last round, I couldn't see in my eyes, like it was a bit wet and frozen, but yeah, what a feeling to, thanks coach. What a feeling to be crossing the line first position. It's unique, and yeah, the first time in my career I was just like checking 3-4 times behind me to be sure, watching the public and then trying to celebrate. It was unique, yeah.
And it's a French double.
French double, yeah, and double win in a row, so that's crazy for us. I think we are on a good way, especially after last hard season for us. So I'm just really happy and proud about my team, and I'm glad I can help.
You did amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, Chad, he mentioned it there. Of course, such a different feeling when it comes to crossing the line first instead of having to wait around to know whether you've ended up on the podium, let alone the top spot.
Yeah, that's one of the thrills of these mass start and head-to-head competitions like the Pursuit as well. You're not waiting. You're not competing in your own little space and coming across the line and see how your time stacked up. Perrot, this is Perrot, maiden first time across the line, ahead of the field, and it's special, and he's going to remember this for the rest of his life. It's a spectacular day for him.
As we take a look at the mass start score, of course, after the first competition. And the French crowd loving it. As Eric Perrot, well, he mentioned there. It's been such a good week for the French team. It took them a while to get on the podium in terms of the men's side of things last season. But this season, they've started well. The wind in their sails going into next week. As Chad, as you rightly said, travel to Hopfilson.
Yeah, and for the French to come away with the win today, it takes a little. They go with 1-2 with the Norwegian third, but the Norwegians again they went 5 through 9, very Norwegian top 10, but still France gets the edge on the Norwegians today, leaving Kontiolahti, and like you said, wind in their sails, heading south to Austria. It was a good week for both the Norwegians and the French, but I'd say a little bit better for the French than maybe I expected, and maybe just a tad less shiny than I expected for the Norwegians to come out.
Of course, brilliant home support as well.
Should also throw a little bit of kudos to Danilo Riedmüller at 25 years of age, his first breakout performance. The German public's such a big fan of this sport, and they've been looking for a new male superstar to pin their hopes on. Philip Navrath has had some success. He's 2 victories in his career, but Danilo Riedmüller at 25. Maybe somebody that the Germans can get a little bit excited about after today, and the Germans just waiting for more success, and Riedmüller delivering that today, just off the podium, but a personal best for him and his first time in the flower ceremony.
Yeah. As those in the stand await the start of the ceremony, keeping themselves very warm and very entertained as we look back on Johannes Tinger's Buzz race. Well, brilliant atmosphere on the final day here in Kontiolahti. Still have the women's mass start to come. (5:10 Central European time). Celebrations continuing for Eric Perrot, who won't be in that bib for much longer.
Yeah, these are big days when you see big like this. It's kind of a little bit of a youth movement today with him winning and Riedmuller in fourth, the under 25 and younger athletes, I should say. Riedmuller, 25 years of age, Perrot, 23, and that's always good for a sport to see young athletes coming along and developing and challenging the likes of big superstars of a massive nature like Johannes Tingesbo. They start realizing they can come out from under the shadow of a big star like that, and if they falter at all, take the win. And Perrot did that.
He did indeed. It's been the story of the week, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, he leaves here with the yellow bib and the red bib for the mass start. It's a big week for that young man right there with the number 8 bib.
Bra fysiskt, så det var gøy. Så gikk jeg litt for hardt inn til første slå.
He'll be leading the flower ceremony out. Just jogging his way to the front, Eric Perrot. It's his second time atop the podium, first in a mass start. Sturla Holmlegard. Fighting all the way to the end with Fiolmaye. A huge victory for the French today. On the foot of the podium. His second, third place of the week.
Third podium of his long career.
And there the noise cranks up. The French faithful making their way to the front of the stand as Quentin Fiolmaye. He fought hard against Sturla Holmlegard. And in the closing stages was able to make it a French 1-2.
54th podium for him, so two men in the second and third spot used to this podium. They've been there many scores of times.
And just a second World Cup win for Eric Perrot, who is well soaking up every bit of the atmosphere. It's his first mass start victory and the crowd love it.
And expect the crowds to swell now in Le Grand Bernard in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, the French starting the season so strongly. It's a France 1-2 in the men's 15k mass start. Eric Perrot taking victory. Quentin Fiolmaye coming through for second, just ahead of Sturla Holmlegard. And a personal best finish for Danilo Riedmuller. 19 out of 20. in the battle for the podium. Couldn't quite maintain the pace of Stella Holmler-Glide and Fion Maillet. Still a brilliant finish for the German.
Yeah, it's transformative really for a 25-year-old who's spent most of his career on IBU Cup. To be fourth in a mass start is your major accomplishment. It's a big move for the German.
And Eric Perrot pulls on the yellow bib.
Well, it's one thing to get your first World Cup victory, but then to throw the yellow bib on top of it. What a day this was for Eric Perrot.
And a bib that's had 3 different wearers over the course of 3 different individual races. But it's Eric Perrot who will hold it going into Hopfilzen next weekend.
I'm not sure the Le Marseillaise has ever been sung so often on Finnish soil as this week in Kontiolahti.
And you can see a lot of the emotion that provokes. Eric Perrot really enjoying his time atop the podium. And now the team will pile in as well, and there'll be plenty of photos to be taken. So just one more race to go here in Kontiolahti. We will be back at 5:10 Central European time.